If you think you know American secrets, think again. War crimes, secret viral pathogens, creating terror armies in service to Israel-linked central bankers and big oil, ritualistic abuse, mind control, Nazi post-war networks of Gladio mirroring the current climate of Israeli war profiteer rat lines all over the world. There's a reason some whistleblowers vanish, found suicided with several shots in the head like Gary Webb, Aaron Swartz and Michael Ruppert. Suicided, tied to chairs, interrogated, killed by domestic drone strike. Don't forget about the Chris Dorner psyop to quietly admit they have drones hunting American journalists just like Gaza. Let's connect the dots they don't want you to see. Gold heists during 9/11, racially specific bioweapons, programs to train death squads around the world, involved in countless atrocities. William Bloom's books exposed U.S. covert ops. He worked for the State Department during Vietnam, so he knows where the bodies are buried. He exposed the USA funded the Khmer Rouge killing fields as revenge against neighboring Vietnam, who had to step in and stop the killing. Media claimed reading him was like supporting bin Laden. He exposed the U.S. dropping ticks with Lyme disease and locusts over Cuba. Racially specific bioweapons similar to AIDS developed in joint projects between CIA, apartheid South Africa and Israel to target blacks and Arabs. Reports surfaced of Navy SEAL war crimes, beheadings, ritualistic murders and taking body parts as trophies, mutilation, hazing, whistleblowers on torture like John Kiriakou were the only ones going to prison for exposing it in Iraq. Sadistic sex acts in secret prisons far beyond what the public has ever heard about. School of the Americas' dirty war, arming Al-Qaeda when they ran out of arms to keep the war going. In Afghanistan, rape, torture, black sites, pushes to expand opium production for pharma cartels and CIA-linked criminal groups from Asia to northern Mexico. Remember in the 80s when every street gang, Contra Death Squad trafficking network had Uzi submachine guns that were promoted in Golan Globus B movies? Other writers like Seymour Hersh, equally dangerous in his reports on Israel nuclear plant, to doom the world's capitals if the money and munitions stop flowing, exposing spy rings against Americans, war crimes and placing Zionist assets on U.S. soil and Wall Street, sexual blackmail rings, and as propaganda censors in tech. Seems like the Declaration of Independence warned of times like this. Whitney Webb and Michael Hastings exposing U.S. officials training sectarian terror groups like ISIS in northern Iraq, adding to reports of green screen beheadings and ties between Al-Qaeda and Mossad. Jihadi John exposed as an actor on a London soundstage. Then there's the mysterious deaths of soldiers Jarrell Waddell, Lavina Johnson. Glaring cover-ups that even parents standing in front of the White House with pictures of their sad deaths and rotting bodies couldn't shed light on. Waddell, left to be eaten alive by a viral pathogen in what looked like bioweapons testing, it was covered up and never reported on. Young, healthy, patriotic black soldiers condemned to the most sadistic and cruel deaths. Johnson, raped and had her genitals burned off with acid to cover up signs of an abusive relationship with an officer or a rape gang within the ranks with power to shut down investigation. Maybe the Klan or Masons had their fun. Crimes that are unthinkable when high school kids sit down with recruiters. Hey kid, what do you think about forced injections with flesh-eating pathogens or being burned alive with acid in ritualistic sex acts? Killed in ways that scream cover-up, systemic corruption, secret society glass ceilings and racist invisible loyalties of weapons testing on blacks continuing into the 21st century? COVID shutdown mirrors to Smith-Mundt Act, Jade Helm, Agenda 21, and reports you would be able to research if InfoWars' entire archive wasn't censored for comparing Sandy Hook to My Lai and Kent State massacres, mind control programs, sex abuse for trauma-based mind control as reported on by Annie Jacobson. But unlike others, she wasn't censored or shadow banned. Why? Snowden, Manning, and Assange tried to blow the whistle. They were hunted, terrorized, and their allies hounded until Gawker shuddered by the president who claimed hope, but gave us dirty wars, Monsanto Protection Act, dead journalists like Michael Hastings and N.D. Adale 2012. Peter Thiel helped snuff their leaks for linking him to predatory Hollywood parties with Bryan Singer and teenage boys. Now he wants to design a social credit system with his Israeli asset partner Alex Karp. With Epstein connections, we get more police state, more surveillance, more checkpoints and abusive terror networks within local cop networks, with Israeli spy designs for torturing Americans with weaponized federal agencies to protect the Epstein parasite class. Trump's 2016 Saudi claims about their involvement in 9/11, MBS greased some palms, make some backroom deals, and Trump backed off exposing Saudi intelligence involvement on 9/11. His son-in-law Kushner has direct ties to Netanyahu, another planner of 9/11. Seems Kushner has inherited the old Jewish mafia of Sheldon Adelson, driving death squads in service of real estate tycoons' plans for Gaza. Likud sold Gaza's oil rights to Dick Cheney and Rothschild-linked Genie Energy before October 7th. Look into Genie Energy and Likud smuggling ISIS blood oil out of Syria and plans for a pipeline. That's why America and Israel support Al-Qaeda in Syria. Look at how Google erased Christopher Ballin's interviews during COVID for exposing a massive Israeli spy ring in the US government leading up to 9/11. Israeli tech spies work openly in Google, Facebook, X, Amazon as censors to cover up massive sex abuse by Shin Bet, IDF and Mossad sexual blackmail serving the artificial ruling class. Housing chaos by foreign assets pushing into our tech sector, stressing already inflated housing markets. IDF war criminals come straight from the mass graves of Gaza to cushy jobs and gated communities in Tarzana, Silicon Valley, and Wall Street. Gaza war crime censorship is not new. It was first being noticed in 2014. Thousands of pro-Palestine accounts deplatformed over reports of organ theft, sex slavery, and CIA contractors committing atrocities in Afghanistan. Remember Cynthia McKinney, James Traficant, Lyndon LaRouche, framed, redistricted, censored, chased out of office, sent to prison for standing up for Americans? What aren't we being told? Who profits from destroying the Constitution and Bill of Rights? This rabbit hole goes deeper than you think. Look into Ted Gunderson, Naim Giladi, Cleva Hava, Christopher Ballin, John Potash and the documentary Dark Legacy to see why these writers specifically have been censored and deplatformed or had attempts on their lives to protect the truth in an age of police state apocalypse and proxy terror.